This is Myra Elaine on the Buying Space channel. I want to invite you all to my Sunday school class. We go through these books called Adult Bible Studies, The Life of Faith, and this is the Spring 2023 edition. We're nearing the end. We will get new books soon. And this past Sunday, we didn't have Sunday school because our church does Sunday serve, where people come in and prepare like what we call manna bags for people in the community. It has toothpaste, toothbrushes, washcloths, soap, just some basic necessities in those bags to help the poor in the community. And we put together materials for a box on the corner for people in the community to come and pick out food to eat. And we also have a box on the corner with books in it for anyone to do. And they can bring books back or take them forever, or they can bring one that they've read and put in there and exchange one. So but there's a book box too. But the people go out in the community and deliver these manna bags, not just on Sunday serve, but on a regular basis. And they had run out of bags. So the church comes together and fills those bags up and talks about all the other mission projects we have, such as the shoebox program, where we, like every month, we give washcloths or toothbrushes or something, so that during the Christmas time, then those boxes can be given to the poor. We have the lesson on May 21st was not read, though, because of Sunday serve. And this book is published by the Methodist Church. This particular quarterly was written by Michelle J. Morris, and she is a lead equiper for the Center for Vitality in the Arkansas Conference of the United Methodist Church. So any of the lesson that I would read is written by her, and any of the Bible passages, I think, are from the Jerusalem Bible or the Common English Bible. But if you all email me, and my email is on my About page, you can find that I will respond to you and send you the Zoom meeting number and the code to come to Sunday school class. I would like that very much. But at the end of each of these lessons, each week, there is a focal passage and a lesson and daily passages to read each week. Here we have the Unit 3 explanation, International Sabbath. So we've been studying this Sabbath, this whole section. Last week was Mother's Day. I did not attend on Mother's Day. Well, I did on Zoom, but we didn't have the regular Mother's Day lesson because our regular Sunday school teacher was preaching at another church. He has been a preacher for 40 decades or more. He is a treasure. His name is Dr. Coles. And our backup Sunday school teacher, Francis, had been a Sunday school teacher for the same class for decades. And in each lesson, there is a focal passage, a background text, purpose statement. So on this month, or this past week, when we had Sunday serve, The background text was the same as the focal passage, which is Matthew 1 through 14, and we are studying in this unit the Sabbath. And the purpose was to recover a scriptural understanding of Sabbath keeping. So I'm going to read this passage, which is from the Common English Bible or from the Jerusalem Bible. At the time Jesus went through the wheat fields on the Sabbath, his disciples were hungry, so they were picking heads of wheat and eating them. When the Pharisees saw this, they said to him, "Look, your disciples are breaking the Sabbath law." And he said to them, "Haven't you read what David did when he and those with him were hungry? He went to God's house and broke the law by eating the bread of the presence, which only the priests were allowed to eat. Or haven't you read the law on the Sabbath? The priests in the temple treat Sabbath as any other day and are still innocent. But I tell you that something greater than the temple is here. If you had known what this means, I want mercy and not sacrifice, you wouldn't have condemned the innocent. The human one is the Lord of the Sabbath." Jesus left that place and went into the synagogue. A man who had witnessed with a withered hand was there. Wanting to bring charges against Jesus, they asked, "Does the law allow a person to heal on the Sabbath?" Jesus replied, "Who among you has sheep that falls into the pit on the Sabbath and will not take hold of it and pull it out? How much more valuable is a person than a sheep? So the law allows a person to do what is good on the Sabbath." Then Jesus said to the man, "Stretch out your hand." So he did, and it was made healthy, just like the other one. The Pharisees went out and met in order to find a way to destroy Jesus. And the key verse of the passage is, "If you had known what this means, I want mercy and not sacrifice, you wouldn't have condemned the innocent." And that's Matthew 12:17. The entire passage was Matthew 12:1 through 14. And then the author of this quarterly, Michelle J. Morris, continues with the lesson. And she talks about the origin of the Sabbath, which is, in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. And he goes through 6 days of creation, and the seventh day he rests. So from the very beginning, God tells us to be productive and then take a day to rest. I like this part of the lesson. In Exodus, just after God's people had been released from Egypt, the justification harkens all the way back to creation, stating that they must rest because God rested on the seventh day of creation. And pretty much highlights that passage. And speaking of Exodus, I am going to continue my Torah studies after I complete Genesis into Exodus, but there will be a break. And it talks about, basically, Jesus is telling them to have common sense. You are going to rescue a sheep that's in trouble on the Sabbath. You're going to do all that work to save that sheep. If you're hungry, you're going to cook and eat. Those things, sometimes you can avoid doing that. Sheep have mind of their own. I don't think a lot of us have that problem. But if you prepare your food on Saturday for Sunday, that's wonderful. That's, you should be focused on keeping this Sunday or your Sabbath work-free. And you can prepare food or you can go out to eat. Of course, if you go out to eat, you're creating work for others. So but you have to use common sense. If your car breaks down on the side of the highway, you have to change out the tire. If you don't call somebody to change out the tire, you have to change out the tire. You can't leave your car there on the side of the road for a day. Bad things happen to cars left on the side of the road, just saying. So if somebody in your family has an emergency and you need to take care of them, whatever that it is that they need, you have to do that work to take care of them. So it's not, I don't think you're condemned if you do things that are necessary to do on Sunday. Sometimes I've had to go shopping on Sunday. I don't like it. I really don't like to go shopping on Sunday. But, if I've got a week ahead of me that I've got appointments and tasks to do every single day to the point where I'm overwhelmed, I will, to survive the week. It's just common sense. So it depends upon the situation. I think that we should do our best not to do those things on Sunday. Some people, they have to work on Sunday to make a living, to support themselves and or a family. And God knows that you need to take care of yourself and your family, that you need that money to do all the other things you do to take care of yourself and others. And, if you have an employer that you can't work with and you can't get that Sunday off to go to church and worship God on the day you have off. Watch the tapes or the videos or find a nice sermon on YouTube and watch that and praise God. And you can do your communion at home. If it's time for you to do communion, some denominations do communion every week. Some only do it at Easter. So it's really up to your personal preference. But you can do that at home. You can survive if you have an employer or have to work on Sunday and there's no avoiding it. Or if your Sabbath is on Saturday, then worship on Sunday. Or whatever day that you are off work and that you can take a morning block of time and listen to a good sermon, have home communion, have communion with your family. That might set a wonderful example for people in your family that don't normally go to church, that don't even watch it on TV with you, but you're having communion at home. And have a special meal. Have communion. Use the passages in the Bible for the Last Supper and have communion. And then after that, have the family meal. And they'll come to the family meal if you fix a special meal, right? They'll know what's going on. That will be a witness to people in your family that might not practice religion or might not believe. Not everybody in every family believes the same way. So, you don't have to be preachy, but you can set an example for those in your household. So I would like to hear from some of you that want to go to Sunday school with me and the others that attend on Zoom. Have a wonderful and blessed day, everyone.